The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Welcome to the Weekend Podcast, joined by Paddy and Steve. Pete's not here. Do you know what? He looked after my dog last week, guys, right? Lola, a little cockapoo, while I was in Tenerife. And Lola's still not right since. Something odd.
She's seen a better life.
I don't know. I think Pete's given it monkeypox.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think he's passed it on, you know.
It's definitely possible.
When you get too close to another animal, that's what happens, isn't it? You know.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but by the way, I don't understand. Why is it just monkeypox? You got monkeypox and chickenpox. That's it. What about the other animals? I don't understand because it didn't come from a monkey. They call him. They blame the monkey. It's not the monkey's fault. It's like squirrels and hamsters. That's a bit unfair, isn't it?
No, there are multiple poxes. They all come from animals.
Yeah, but it didn't start with a monkey. It ended up with a monkey, and then they blamed the monkey. So that's why they call it monkey. I mean,
is it called monkeypox because of the bobbly effect?
No, it's not good. The monkey's just saying, "Hey guys,
monkeys are bobbly."
Yeah, they're not bobbly. What's the bobbly effect, Steve? Steve's still half drunk. He went to
monkeys bobbly.
Yeah, he went to an Ed Sheeran concert last night. That was quite...
Steve, how was it?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, really
was it in Cardiff or Wembley?
Yeah.
If it was in Cardiff, it was publicised across mainstream media and everything, Pat. Apparently the queues go to Cardiff. I didn't realise Ed was so popular. Well, I suppose he is.
Very popular. He does very well for himself.
He's
fair play.
So is it good since? Why did you go, Steve? I want to see you as a typical target audience for Ed Sheeran.
Well, I wouldn't have gone, but my friend offered me free tickets.
Free, isn't it?
Oh, the old freebie, yes. Yeah. But there we are.
We were in the friends and family enclosure.
Really? What, friends and family of Ed Sheeran?
Indeed.
Really? Who's a friend? So give us
that area in Cardiff's probably going to be quite empty, isn't it?
I know. No, Edward Sheeran Thomas.
My friend's got the same booking agent as Ed Sheeran, so yeah.
A booking agent? Who's your friend, Steve?
Elton John.
The Stickmen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Quite slim guys, aren't they?
Yes.
I imagine that Ed Sheeran concert would be a monkeypox super spreader event, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably.
all getting loved up and all, oh, I love Ed, kissing each other and cuddling. Did you actually touch anyone last night, Steve?
I touched someone's right arm, I think.
Oh,
yeah, you got it.
There we are. Monkeypox, chickenpox, smallpox, all that.
Apparently it's fine though, isn't it? It's just like a little.
Isn't it only for? It's only for kids though, isn't it?
It's only for kids.
I get it.
Come and get kids. Come and get your free monkeypox. Adults, you can't have it.
It's a lot better than coronavirus, though. I mean, it's pretty unsightly, but once you've had it, and that's it. It doesn't come back.
Yeah, but also they're saying close physical contact, and they're saying it spreads very quickly amongst gay and bisexual men, and that's how it's been passed around. So the monkey's just saying, "Why are you blaming me? I was the last animal to get it. You're calling the monkeypox."
I think it's just because it started at a nightclub, didn't it, or something? I think that's more down to where it got into Europe rather than.
Well, that's why they call it monkeypox. It started in a nightclub.
In terms of why it's transmitting around that community.
Oh, okay. Well, it's close contact, isn't it? If you get really close contact, that's what happens. Yeah. Unlike COVID, it's not airborne. It's not airborne or sneezing. It's literally close, really close. I mean, almost
kissing close.
Inside you close, that kind of close. Okay. Really inside someone else.
Didn't have any of that last night.
No. Chicken pox. So what I liked about that was quite funny though. Chicken pox, right? Chicken is the female, isn't it? Now they decided to go with chicken rather than cockerel pox because cock pox. The doctor said you got cock pox.
No, chicken's the animal. Hen's the woman.
Oh yeah, is it?
Sorry to blow a hole in your.
No, chicken is what? Hen pox, is it? Chicken is the actual generic.
Cocks and hens are the male and the female. Chickens are the animal.
So you could say cock pox though, if you got.
You could, yeah, but I mean that wouldn't be accurate.
Anyway, guys, I quite like, Pat, that you haven't looked at your portfolio for a while. Let's get the stocks and shares, because that's what it's about. It's not like monkeypox, all the poxes of Ed Sheeran's concert, But I do feel for Lola. I don't know what... I do feel Pete's violated in some way. But, you've got to have a dog sitter. And part of me thinks, well, we want to go on holidays. Even if he's doing that, he's got to weigh up the odds here. But anyway, I like the fact you haven't looked at your portfolio pad for a while. That's quite good. That's quite healthy, I think.
Shall I look at it now? I'm not even just saying that I haven't looked at it for.
Yeah, it may scare you. It may scare you, right? Because this is my thought on it. And I say the markets are largely driven by emotion. You get it gets oversold. That's where market inefficiency comes in. And then it gets...
that's not good.
No, but listen to this, Pat. Listen to this, right? This makes sense, right? As I say, it's largely driven by, emotion, because the fact that a company's valuation could drop like 50% in a couple of months when the operations are still performing as it was previous to that drop, and the fact is that company wasn't overvalued beforehand. If it's overvalued, fine, it can drop. But it doesn't make any sense that the valuation, because it's liquid prices, people buy and sell shares, you get oversold conditions. That's where the market is inefficient. That's where you take advantage. It's like, and I'll give a real world example, right? Let's say Steve owns a pasty and ice cream shop. And I do pasty and ice cream because it covers both seasons, Someone comes in on a hot day, Steve says, do you fancy a pasty? He says, it's a bit hot for pasty. Ice cream? Oh, yeah, I love ice cream. So he's covering both angles there.
An ice cream pasty. Has that been done yet?
Yeah, no, I don't think it has. But Scottish has probably done that, haven't they? They deep fry everything and... Anyway, right, so, and then someone comes in, it's like a cold day, and Steve says, ice cream? He said, no, it's a bit cold for ice cream. I got pasties. Oh, lovely, pasty. So you could cover in both angles there, winter and summer, right? Now, let's say I go past Steve's shop, it's a summer's day, people are queuing round the block for Steve's ice creams. He literally can't make enough cones up in one go. He's rushed off his feet. And then I go there in the winter and people rush, run the shop, run the block for pasties. And I said, Steve, your business is doing well, isn't it? He said, oh, yeah, pasties in the winter, summers, ice creams in the summer. Lovely, got it covered, both angles. And I said, how much are you making then? He said, I am clearing profit of about £1 million a year. I said, oh, lovely. So I said, listen, I'll value that at 5 times that, okay? I want to buy it off you for $5 million. Right? He said, oh, I'll have a think about it. And then I come back a week later, there's been a couple of reports about recession about to happen, and I say, Steve is still busy, still selling the pasties and the ice creams. And I say, Steve, I'm going to give you $2.5 million for your business. He said, what are you talking about? You offered me $5 million last week. I said, yeah, no, but have you heard the news, recession and everything? He said, that's not going to affect my pasty and thing in the shop. So that's the way the markets work. Right now, the markets are valuing companies at a ridiculous discount. Why? Because of fear. That's it. It'll come round. Is it okay? There's inflation, all that stuff.
But that's human nature, right? Like that makes complete sense. And the only way that would be stopped if Steve's pasty and ice cream business was constantly releasing news and updates to allay those fears that actually they're recession-proof.
No, I'd like that. I've decided got a billboard like an RNS.
Yeah.
Operations this week.
Make that call about his business because you can see how big the queue is and it's not changing. But if I'm not aware of the current situation at Escape Hunt or Boom Battle Bars, then I can't make that decision, and I'm not saying it's the correct decision, I may leap to the assumption that the recession, the oncoming financial problems are going to affect that business.
Yeah, and largely they don't. Do you know what? I mean, there's lots of... When people talk in the media about, low-income families, of course, they're going to be hit massively, low-income families. But you have to understand, the business I'm invested in, pretty much, like, for example, Bull Battle Bar, or let's go through them, Trufin, or Get, or G-Tech, they're not supplying their products to low-income families. That's not their target, In fact, Marks & Spencer's and Pets at Home come out with figures this week. Mark said, we're largely not going to be affected by inflation. Our customer base, are not going to stop shopping here. It's going to be the same. Pets at Home, the same. Most people will not stop feeding their pets. In fact, most people look after their pets better than their kids. So if they have to stop feeding their kids, they won't stop feeding their dog. So it's, these businesses are not going to be affected. Steve's pasty and ice cream shop, it's not going to be affected. People want a pasty or ice cream. They're going to treat themselves to that. It's not going to be, but you get the sentiment, like you say, people worry that, and this is why you have to be it doesn't matter if you have no cash, guys. There's a way you can do it. You have to be buying in these conditions. You have to be bringing your average price down. This is where you get the bargains. And I said this before, basically, in this market, this kind of market, this is where it's a good time to research, to buy companies and invest in them, because they are cheap now. These are when it's cheap. Don't worry about sell-offs. Sell-offs are opportunities to buy companies cheap, very cheap.
So how do I do that when I've got no cash?
You've got to scale out the companies you're not happy with or you think they're overvalued. Just take a hit on them and get into companies that are excellent value and are going to be multiples from here. So you have to take advantage somewhere. So basically, Steve wasn't here a week before last, but I don't know if you listened, but we talked about that. And I said, you've got to sell your donkeys to get a thoroughbred, essentially. You've got to scale out.
Right. You know what I like what a donkey is.
I'm the same. I've pretty much done that already, and I'm pretty much in all companies that I'm happy with anyway. So
yeah, I know, but when you take it, for example, let's say
a really hungover voice there, Steve. Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
But these micro caps we're in, right, can do 3, 5, maybe even 10 times their current valuation. Okay, so generally you have a big sell off. A company will go down by 50%, all right, but you can do multiples of that. But if you get down, if you bring your average down, your multiple will be better. So you are missing out on an opportunity to scale in at cheaper levels. Essentially, it's the old adage, isn't it? Why wouldn't you buy, if you got your favourite pair of shoes, you always go to the shop, they're 100 quid, whatever they are, for a pair of shoes, and you go in one day and it's 50 quid, you'd buy some, wouldn't you? You think, well, I always buy these shoes and they're 50 quid, they're normally 100 quid, they're always 100 quid. But once every 5 years, they have a sale on, and they're like 50 quid. You top up. You've got to top up. That's taking advantage of it. It's the same with businesses. Once they're cheap, you've got to take advantage. Absolutely.
See, I did that though, like probably about a month ago or so. I did top up and I put a bit of money into escape hunts, but then typically that week it went down again. So I'm like,
listen, we're looking into the time frame we're looking at when stocks go down is too short. I mean, I'm talking about if you're holding a company typically from 3 to 5 years, which is a good business, you should be holding it for that to get a good return on investment. Then it's fine, But I mean, I'm just saying, if you can, once a month maybe, try and top up at these levels, especially with funds. Definitely. I mean, right now, the S&P 500, right, has bounced 6.5% from its low on the 20th of May, which is, 8 days ago. And in 6 to 12 months' time, many will say, and I've just tweeted this, I wish I'd bought more during that bear market. It happens every bear market.
I've said this lots of times over the years, but I don't have enough income to keep on putting money in. Like the money that's in there at the moment is the money that has to stay there.
How many stocks you got?
1, 2, I've got 7.
Get rid of one of them and just put it into another one.
Well, which one?
Well, look at the ones you've... in fact, I've just released information on a new company I've invested into the Investor Club. I think it's going to do really, really, really well because in a very hot area. It's undervalued, massively undervalued right now. And it's good for like 5-10 years because the trend it's in, the sector it's in, is mega trend. But that's something like that you've got to get into because it's going to be huge. And you are when I look at a company, right? I got 9 filters. I don't know if you saw that video. I did cover it on the webinar on the weekend. I sent you a link, but I'm not going to mention it yet because it's exclusive to the club for a month. But when I look at a company, the first 3 filters most important are growth. Because a company has growth. In microcap stocks, that's what you're looking for is growth, and that validates the product. If they're selling a product and it's that product sales are increasing every year by 20%, it validates they've got a product there people want. Then you look at valuation. Is it overvalued? Because that protects the downside a little bit. If a company is doing well, like for example Tesla, but it's super overvalued, it'll take a hit, a massive hit, when the market's down. But if you're getting good value, it'll protect the downside a bit. And thirdly, profitability, or do they have cash to get there? That means they won't have to issue new equity to dilute shareholders. There's a double effect. They issued at a discount, and a lot of people flip the shares and also dilute the existing holders. So if you've got a company that doesn't need to go to the markets, those are the first 3 filters. Next filter I look at, which is in the second column, is trends, mega trends. Are the end markets growing and big? Is it in a trend that'll last, like, I'm not talking months, like the COVID testing COVID tests of trend, like years. I'm talking about a decade or more. And that's mega trends. It's going to be getting bigger. And in certain sectors, in that area are, and I sort of esports, gaming, energy or new energy, renewables, all that kind of stuff. It's only going to get bigger, And so that way, there's the tide is with you. You're surfing with the tide there. You're not against the tide in any way. I don't have a good analogy there, but you literally the tide is coming in. If you're a surfer.
I think that is an analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know a good one.
I don't think you need to add to it. Surfing against the tide.
Surfing against the tide. It's hard work, that, isn't it? It doesn't really work. But it's almost like as a surfer, you check the tides and you see, okay, when's the good tide? When's the tide's coming in? That's what you look for. When tide's going out, there's no point. But these mega trends, the tides are coming in for a long time. There's a huge amount of investments, inward investment going into these areas. And so you're literally riding that wave, And then I look at USP. Has got anything new, different? That moat, that way its margins are bigger, it's more efficient. It's likely to be a target maybe for other companies. So that thing like that, you've got to get into it. But and do you know what? People are saying now on Twitter, say, well, how do you know the bear market's not going to last for 10 years? I said, everyone says that in a bear market. That's why not many people take advantage of a bear market. If you look at all the bear markets, and I covered this in the webinar as well, if you look at all the bear markets that happened since 1929, that's the Great Recession, Great Depression, when people literally were skint. People were throwing themselves out of building windows. Wall Street brokers were throwing themselves out of office windows. That's how bad it was. There were people literally destitute on the street from being in banking jobs. From that every bear market there's been, up until the great financial crash, the dot-com bubble, right, they generally, on average, they last 14 weeks. And the drop is around 36% on average. Right? AIM has now dropped 32%. It's lasted 9 weeks. And so I don't think we're anywhere near as bad as those in the kind of recessions, the big ones that skew that average down. So I'm saying we're very close now. Very close. 9 weeks in, probably a few more weeks left, and we'll come out of it. When we do, people will look back and say, I wish I'd put more down there. There isn't a bell. There isn't someone saying, this is the bottom, guys. It's not going to happen. All you've got to look at is valuations and realise this is quite cheap. Historically, the markets always bounce. They always recover, always. But at the low, when everyone's scared, that's the time to buy. That's the market saying, sail on, sail. But it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. No one's going to say that to you. So you've got to.
So where would you, other than your new stock, which you can't talk about because it's exclusive to the club, where would you put some extra money into?
That new stock. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, right.
But that goes against what you were just saying. You said to average down and invest in stuff we already got, and now you're saying to buy something new.
Yes, but I'm saying that because I think this is one of the best. There's only 3 reasons you should sell, essentially. Okay. That's if thesis of a company has changed in some way. The initial investment thesis or case has changed. You get out. If the company, if it hit your targets or was overvalued in some way, get out. Or a reallocation of capital. So what you need to do, essentially, in situations like that, is maybe top slice a few other stocks. If you see that the capital in this new company will generate better returns for you than other companies, then you'd be silly not to, wouldn't you? Because it's like, if you're shopping for a house, maybe looking for a house, and you see one house, your price range is literally, I'd say your price range, say your price range is, say, 300 grand or something like that. You're looking for a house somewhere, and you see this flat, it's quite nice, and you say, oh, that's nice, that's lovely. You put an offer in, and then all of a sudden you see another flat, a lot better for the same price. You're not going to say, no, I'm going to stick to the original one. No, I don't care if the other one's better. I'm going to stick with the other. So you have to weigh it up and say, oh, in fact, that's a better buy for me than this. So I haven't sold out of any of my initial stocks, but you've got to make room in the portfolios for something else. Maybe I've scaled down on others, but you've got to do that. You've got to do that. It's about just investing in businesses, isn't it? If you see a great business, you can't say, I'll let it go. It's a good, the growth is excellent, the valuation's excellent, they're profitable, it's in a very hot trend, they've got USP, I'm just going to let it go. No, you can't.
That's the situation I'm in with some of the ones that I might be looking at now and going, well, that didn't potentially work out as we planned. So, like, if I'm looking at my portfolio, so I'm 50% down in Biome.
Yeah.
Is that one I should be jettisoning?
No, well, I'd say, listen, don't see it as like jettisoning all of them. Maybe even top slice a few. So you don't, you're not taking massive chunks out of all of them. You're taking a few chunks out of, all of them and put them into that new stock. And then, because if you look at it, right, of all the companies, not all of them are going to fly. Some of them will. You don't need all of them to fly. You need 1 or 2 to do really, really well. That's all you need, right? So you can allocate some capital to a new company like that company I'm talking about, and then, depending on which one goes, because it will take time, you'll get updates, oh, that's a good update, and if it keeps delivering, start allocating more capital. There's always more opportunity on dips, but right now to start, scaling into a company like that, and then, because over time, you realise one of them will truly outperform, and so you really put more onto that winner then. You go with your winners, and you start, cutting back on the ones that are not performing very well, It's like anything in sport, football, isn't it? If a guy consistently performs every match, then that's the guy you should pick if he's in form. If he's a guy that you think has potential, but he's never really performed, you don't sort of double down on him, do you? You go with the guy this guy constantly performs. So it's like stocks, businesses. If it's improving, the winners tend to go on winning. So if they start performing very, very well, and the business carries on performing well, you've got to load more into it, pour more into it. And then down the road there, it could be a 10, 20 bagger, and if you get it right. But that's what I mean. At the start there, you put, capital in quite a few companies, and then in the end, you see a winner coming out.
I think that's my problem here. Like, I'm looking down my portfolio, like, these all still seem like they're primed to do something.
Yeah, they will.
But then none of them are actually, like, none of them feel to me like they're absolutely flying, or there's like a stream of good news coming out.
Yeah, nothing will fly in a bear market. That's why this is an opportunity to look at for companies that are cheap. Nothing will fly. It is like the, it's like trying to paddle against the tide. It's not going to happen.
That's not one.
Well, no, but
throwing the paddle against the tide.
No, paddling against the tide. It's like you've been in a kayak. Paddy in his kayak, trying to paddle up the river. And you're thinking, this is bloody hard work. I've got a cracking kayak. It's brand new. It's the top of the range. Doesn't matter, Pad. What kayak you got? The tide's against you, fella. Wait, turn the kayak round. Now go. And that's when the bull market comes in. Right? Oh, this is better.
When you turn the boat around.
Well, the boat will turn around next 2 weeks, Steve. But there won't be a
2 weeks time. Okay, cool.
There won't be
in the diary.
No, but now is the time. The market. All we need to see for the market, right, is that the figures on inflation are not going to get worse. That's the first level you see. At the moment, they are getting worse because we've had, But if you look at it now, energy prices haven't gone up significantly in the last, 2-3 months. So you can say the inflation we've received as yet, of course, the reports on inflation is a lag. In fact, the report the month previously, so it's a bit lagging. But if we get news out that inflation isn't significantly worse, the markets will start to rally. Because after that, hopefully, they'll think it's going to get better. That it's going to peak. We are at peak inflation. So that's what they're looking for. Are we at peak inflation? If the markets see that, it'll rally. That's all they need. It's not getting worse. And then you may have Putin or whatever and the Ukraine situation, petering out a little bit. And that'll play into it. Even now, though, people are worried about the Fed in America hiking rates up to 2.5%. Even now, there's rumours, because the market took a bit of a tanking, and there's worry about employment because you can talk yourself into a recession, that the Fed may be backing off a little bit. So you get that changing dynamic as well. So lots of things can happen. When you're at the pit, the trough of the doom and gloom, there seems like no way out. It seems like you're caught in there. And all of a sudden, we always come out of it. Always, But down in the dark days, in the pit there, that's where you buy. Who's outside?
It's just the magpies fighting.
Where are you? In the garden?
I'm in my shed.
Nice. Is there a plane going over?
That's the plane, yeah. Landing at Heathrow. Yeah, in my garden every morning there's a war. So I was thinking quite deeply this morning about this. Like, every morning I have to watch the squirrels fighting each other, and then the magpies fighting each other, and then the parrots fighting each other, and then the magpies.
Parrots?
Yeah, we've got parrots in London. And then the magpies and the parrots fight each other, and then if it's really kicking off, the magpies will go for the squirrels, and that's
there's an
that's just mindless violence.
There's an interspecies war. That's nuts, isn't it? Now that's like us fighting aliens, really, isn't it? Because wars in the world are amongst humans generally. We generally don't have wars with other animals, do we? Or sometimes we do, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we've killed quite a few.
Yeah, pest control and all that stuff. But
there's no wolves in this country anymore.
But Alex, does that battle ever get resolved? Does it carry on every day?
It carries on every single. But it made me think this morning that actually, as humans, it's probably in us to fight each other all the time, and actually, our successes might be that for brief periods, every now and again, we sort of get along. Yeah, and that might be the best that we can ever hope for. I don't know. That was my morning thought as I was drinking my coffee, watching the squirrels tear chunks out of each other. Yeah, but it's quite good. But never, ever, always be aware, right? When people compare us to animals, we are animals, of course, but a different species of animal. Say, well, they've always warred, they've always fighted. Remember, we are hopefully a bit more sophisticated than them. We have a bit more logic. We have a bit more logic to say. In fact, war constantly is completely detrimental to anything. It's not constructive in any way whatsoever. So let's find another way. That's what humans have done. We're one of the best evolvers. Well, we are the best. In the evolutionary space, we've evolved. We've solved many things. If you look at it, we were living in mud caves, several thousand years ago. Now we got gleaming skyscrapers. We fly in planes. That still amazes me. I got a plane, Tenerife. It still amazes me because if you're in Tenerife, it's a small island. You see Ryanair coming in, TUI coming in.
every 10 minutes or something. And you're thinking, that still doesn't make any sense, that big metal tube with a couple of wings there flying. And they don't seem that. Me and the old man go up the golf course and knock a few balls, and they don't seem to be going that fast when they're coming into land, And you think, that's a hunk of metal in the air just flying, not that fast. How is it up there?
It's not true. It's the Matrix. None of this is real.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? When you get older, you start appreciating these small things just flying by plane. That's phenomenal. Because you go back, 100 years? There's two brothers, trying to get this wooden thing off the floor, and now we're carrying hundreds of people in commercial jetliners, and we're travelling safely thousands of miles. How fast does that come on? That's phenomenal, isn't it? Just the technology, and technology enables technology. And going back even 20 years now, the internet was only just started. Look where we are now. We're doing podcasting, you buy and sell on the internet. There's nothing you can't do on the internet. You can go on the metaverse and go into a strip club. Or, it's nuts, isn't it, really? Huh? I mean, phenomenal. And this is why people say, green hydrogen, it's too expensive. Do you not understand technology? There's many, even the iPhone, go back 30 years, and this now is a little black box of magic. What it can do is phenomenal compared to what we had even 30 years ago. You think, how is that? It's like alien magic.
Even 15 years ago.
Yeah. So people who say, green hydrogen, is too expensive. There are groundbreaking technologies in the what's the stuff that converts them all? The green hydrogen. I can't think of the machine. But even that is breakthrough technology happening now that make those more, I think, 30% more efficient. So people basing our assumptions on what we have today don't see the future and how we've developed. Even going from trying to fly a wooden crate with two brothers, the Orville brothers or the Wright brothers. Was it the Orville brothers or the Wright brothers who invented the plane?
Orville Wright, that was his first name.
Oh, okay. Going from that level to actually transporting hundreds of people efficiently on timetables around the world.
Who could have? Do you think they sat there imagining that they'd be starting off an industry that would fly the Waite family from Cardiff to Tenerife?
Yeah, I know. And hey, that's the thing, right? I explain this. We're in Cardiff. My father says Cardiff, best airport in the world. Best airport in the world, Cardiff is.
Gatwick, mate, Gatwick.
No, I tell you what, though, it's another contender here because he likes it, and I understand now, it's so small, you get in there, no fuss, you don't have to check in if you want, we can handle, that's the way forward. No luggage check-in, we can hand luggage, me and my father. Go in there, and literally check-in goes, it's no fuss, it's like one plane taking off. But having said that, we were delayed, which is so annoying, and then Megan and the boys joined us a day later. They came from Bournemouth. Now she's saying, that's the best airport. You go in there, so small, there's no big crowds. You check in, plane done, it's almost like a private jet. And you come out, she landed, with an hour of landing, she was home. I thought, that's the way. Now, in Cardiff, we had a delay, right, of 2 hours. And the guy said, we haven't got a pilot for the plane, which is quite essential, when you want to fly. Having a pilot, if you haven't got one of those, you're a bit stuck there, aren't you? So they said, we're going to bring a pilot down from Birmingham. I thought, what? How long is that going to take? But I was thinking...
2 hours.
Yeah, but how does he get from Birmingham to Cardiff?
In a plane.
Does he, though? And what kind of plane? I wanted to ask the air stewardess, how did you get the pilot so fast down from Birmingham to Cardiff? So does he fly like a TUI plane on his own?
Probably, yeah.
And I just think, what about the weight distribution on that? Just him on his own?
Remember when we went to Ibiza together and they didn't have a plane for us, so they just flew one out from the UK. We just sat there in Ibiza airport waiting for the plane.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Oh. We spent a fun night in Ibiza airport together. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, never bet against human ingenuity, the evolution. That's what I'm saying about lesser animals, technology, it's brain-wise. Never compare people. Like people say, that's why we got incisors to bite off meat. I think, well, yeah, but you had to. That's why animals eat animals, because they have to, don't they? They can't create non-meat foods. They haven't got supermarkets. That's what they do. They chase, a lion will chase the gazelle down, whatever it is, and eat it. That's all they can do. They can't go...
Well, they don't have to. There's lots of animals that only eat plants. They've evolved away from eating meat. Yeah, but what I'm saying is they can't book a table for two at a Prezzo or something, and can they say, I don't fancy meat tonight, a pizza, one of those
new... They can do if they want.
Yeah.
How would they take the booking for that?
I don't know what cows evolved from, but whatever was before a cow was probably eating meat before it decided that grass was probably easier and less hassle.
Yeah. But that's so inefficient for the cow, isn't it? Have you seen how much grass they have to eat? Even elephants, right? Elephants eat vegetation. How do they keep themselves going just on vegetation?
You want to see the size of a dinosaur, dude. Some of them, Jesus.
Yeah, but that means the efficiency of that animal is wrong because they're spending 90% of their day eating. That's all. Some people quite like that, I suppose. But
what else are they going to do?
That's not an efficient use of your time, is it? Well, exactly. Humans, you've got hobbies and stuff. See, we can eat our food within 5-10 minutes. The rest of the day, free. Do what you want to do.
What else is a cow going to do with its day? It's not going to
have a hobby.
Check out Facebook and watch some Netflix.
Well, exactly. That's why we shouldn't compare animals to us because they are fighting in the garden. What I'm saying is, we've evolved on from that, Pad. So don't take.
I feel like we've gone on a tangent here. Yeah, I know it's my fault. But...
All I'm saying, don't take your steer from the magpies and the squirrels and the parrots. I got to say, in a fight between a parrot and a magpie, surely the parrot wins because they're nasty beaks they got, haven't they?
No, the magpie wins every battle.
Really?
Those magpies are nasty. Yeah.
That's surprising.
They beat the squirrels. They even beat the cats.
What kind of parrots have you got in London then?
I used to,
green ones.
Yeah, when I used to live near Richmond Park, Steve, there was loads of them. Flying around the thing. There were loads of parrots and parakeets. Yeah, loads of them. Unbelievable. When I first saw it, I thought, what? Some ones escaped from the zoo. And then you see loads of them flying around Richmond Park. Loads of parrots. And deer. They don't fly around, they run. By the way, anyway, so I also, just on things, at the moment it's largely about emotion in the markets. It will bounce, but these are advantage, if you take advantage of these price drops, and I did say people who lose money do so because they sell below the price they bought. That sounds quite obvious. But why do they do that, Because
they're encouraged to by a guy on a podcast.
Who says that? Because
sell it and buy something else.
They pay. No, I'm not saying. Right, don't work in extremes.
You definitely said sell something.
No, I know, but I'm saying don't work in extremes. Don't say sell entire stock. I'm saying top slice a bit.
But the amounts I've got in some of these, I can't top slice it. That makes no sense. Like the fee for selling is going to be more than what I'm.
Okay, fair enough.
Getting out.
Well, for you then, maybe you have to look at one stock. I wouldn't go buy it. Buy them is very cheap, and it's got good growth coming forward. I mean, they don't release a lot of news, so I just think it's a good business, a good trending area. I mean, maybe for a top slice doesn't make sense, but maybe. I don't know. All you have to look at is the operations. Is the company improving? It's hard at the moment.
Truth's back in profit for me. That's nice.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So, in fact, what percentages? Look at percentages, actually. If you've got a big chunk in one, then maybe even it out a bit, your portfolio, level it up a bit and try and get, So, if you've got a big chunk in one of them, maybe, and you think, okay, that's, maybe I'm overexposed that a little bit. Maybe that's a way forward. But all I'm saying, I don't know how you do it if you haven't got actual cash there. Genuinely, what I've done is top sliced a few. That's all I've done. Top sliced a few and put it in new stock. And I still hold. I haven't sold any stocks outright, and my biggest holding is XPF, and I think GTech and Trufin. Gfinity was up there until it took a massive knock. But I haven't sold any, bio or anything.
What's happening at GFIN? Can I expect that to improve?
Yeah, well, it's so annoying there's no updates here, but I've said that people are getting very frustrated with it in the club, and I said, at the moment, listen, we're in a bear market. The esports companies take a knock, they do, but all I look at right now is they've got cash. That's the biggest worry for any small cap company. They've got cash, they've raised cash. They are valued at about 13 million market cap. They've got about 3 million of cash there. Plus, they've got an extra 2.5 million coming from warrants. That they say will take them to profitability. So why sell at the low? I did say on the chat group, it's like someone you putting your house up for sale. You get 5 people offering you a price for it, and you accept the worst price, the worst bid. You don't do that. I believe that the market is not valuing that company properly at the moment. Markets are cyclical. It'll bounce. You get a better price. Don't sell here. It's like selling your house to the worst bidder. Don't sell here. The markets will bounce. Every stock pretty much will rise in a bull market. Obviously, some will outperform others. So don't accept the bad price for that investment now. Wait. It's not the market's undervaluing it. I do believe that. It's basically just valuing the GTM side of the business, the other parts of the business, and on this year's revenue as well. So it's not even looking ahead. So I just wait for updates because as far as I'm aware, the last thing they said was, got cash, that will take us to profitability. That in itself, undervalues the business considering where they are. I'm waiting for an update on that. It's quite annoying. There's no update.
I'll send them an email. I'll ask them to hurry up.
Yeah, but also, it's like any updates in this market, pretty much, it's like, again, it's sold into. So I don't mind them keeping their head down for a while, wait until the market sentiment turns.
Yeah, that is annoying though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is annoying. Wait until the market sentiment turns, then release when you're with the tide, when you go with the tide, really. Anyway, so
Lots
people
of tide chat on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's all about tides, isn't it? We are affected by tides. People think people's moods are affected by tides. The moon, and it's affected by the moon. See, and that's where's that? And the moon, of course, comes to lunar. That's where the word loony comes from. That's why people stay at the moon and go a bit strange to the moon. They're called loonies. You know that.
What's happening with Polarian? When's the FDA?
Great fact.
No, back. Did you know that? Did you know what people are called loonies because of the moon?
Yeah, I did know that. That's well known.
Did you know that, Steve?
But the effect of the moon on the whole of the planet is fascinating. I'll fill you in at some stage. But what people don't necessarily realise is that it's not just the moon that has an effect on us. Like when the planet passes through the trail of all of the planets and everything in the cosmos sort of coming down onto the planet, those things also affect us. Yeah. There is some truth in. Not in astrology itself, the stuff you read in the sun, but in, the effects of the cosmos on the planet.
Yeah. Well, magnetic forces and the moon tides. Of course, tides are affected by the moon, the pull of the moon. So, yeah, and that's why tides move. Anyway, listen. What did you say about what's happening with Polarian?
Go on.
Well, I'm still waiting for FDA approval on this, October time. But as yet, I don't know if you saw there's some more reports out from Professor Gleason. From Oxford University. Now, this is one. Again, when you're investing in a company, especially small caps, the USP filter is very important. Because what differentiates this business from anywhere else? Polarian have tech that no one else has, and it's validated by people like, head of radiology at Oxford University, and all that, is using their kit. Not only them, some of the best institutions in the world are using Polarian's technology to discover things they haven't been able to discover with other people's tech, as now. And in fact, I think I tweeted out yesterday, Professor Gleason saying he's picking up lung damage in COVID patients that he hasn't seen on any other technology. That there is a game changer, So you just got to be patient, Like these stocks. It's like, do you know what Charlie Munger is, boys? Do you know who he is? Charlie Munger? Yeah. Steve? Doesn't sound convincing.
No.
Doesn't sound convincing, does he? I've heard the word Charlie, and I've heard the word Munger, so yes, I'm going to say yes to that one. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's partner. You know who Warren Buffett is, Steve, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so phenomenal. He's a super rich guy, and together, when they've got together, they really started firing on all 4 cylinders, or 8, I don't know how many cylinders there are. But he says, essentially, what did he say? If you can't take a 50% knock in any of your stocks and still hold, you're destined for mediocre returns. Some of the best businesses in the world, even right now, look at Amazon, people like that, they're down by 40, 50%, Who's held on to Amazon since it started? But people who have are rich. Same with Apple. All the big companies take big knocks. That doesn't mean the business has been affected. All it means is the valuation is cheaper. That's all it means. So, yeah. You see, Paddy's giving us a little picture there on WhatsApp of Charlie Munger.
It's Charlie Munger. He's looking well.
And I think he's 99. Yeah. I think he's close to 100. He's close to that. So, and Warren Buffett's like 90 odd. But so he's quite acerbic, Charlie Munger. If some of the tweets he doesn't care, doesn't suffer fools gladly.
Once you're 98, why would you care?
Yeah, 98.
If you're a 98-year-old billionaire, I would have stopped caring quite a long time ago.
And he's a long-term investor, which is a good thought, isn't it? That's optimism for you right there. Him and Warren Buffett, 98, they're long-term investors. And Warren Buffett's been buying big chunks of stock, by the way. So the market goes down, he doesn't care. He just looks at valuations. Oh, that's cheap now, I'm buying that. He'll sit on piles of cash for a while, and then when the market's a big sell-off, he'll pile into it. And you know what? Take your steer from people like these. They've done well for decades. They're not a flash in the pan. When those guys are buying, they don't get it wrong that often. They know their stuff. So if you're not following the traits of Buffett and Munger, you're probably on the wrong side of the trade. If you're selling right now, they're buying. Who would you put faith in? Some trader on the internet, on Twitter, or Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett? Who's got the best track record? Those guys. They are buying. If you're selling, you're probably on the wrong side of the trade. What else? Any other companies, boys? GTEC had final results out in it last week, but all going well. But it's going to take a couple of years, of course, because green hydrogen's new, but it's going to be massive. And the valuation right there. All they need to get is one project away, and that more than underpins the valuation. They've got 20 in the pipeline, pretty much. So 10 tonnes of hydrocarbon on each project. They're looking at 500 megawatts of power from green hydrogen up to 2030. They've got 2 projects so far. That's about 10% of that target. Each project, if you're looking around about 8 to 10 tonnes, 10 tonnes of green hydrogen will generate 6 million of cash for them and 2 million of EBITDA. So if you put those two together, that's 12 million and 4 million EBITDA. Even that on a times 15 multiple, it's way above the market cap they're at now. So even one of those, actually, 2 times 15, 30 million, they're valued at 20 million. So even one project, and of course, they've got the software business already, which is generating about £4 million a year. It grew last year by 20%. So right there, they're plenty of cash, 5 million of cash. So right there's a good opportunity to get into that area of energy, renewables. So it's going to take a while because it's a new technology, but we're in early here. There's going to be set multiples that the company could, of where they're at right now. Any other companies on news? No, not really. Awaiting final results from XPF because they said end of May, and they're cutting it fine, aren't they? Because we are pretty much the end of May right now.
Yeah.
But there's been, I did speak to Paul Hill about this, and he said, there's been a problem with lack of staff and auditors. Do you know that? A lot of company reports have been, because they have to submit the company reports and get an independent sign-off from the auditors, And so until they can do that, they can't release. And there's been a massive problem. I've seen Alan Sugar's been whinging about auditors, and he says, people working from home, it's the trouble, isn't it? Get back in the office, do your job. So apparently the auditors are having a big problem. There are a backlog of company accounts that they have to go through. So it may be delay on that. Or maybe, I'm hoping, they're waiting for a final sign-off on Oxford Street so they can announce that in the financial results. I doubt it, though. But hopefully they will be announcing that. Because that's a biggie, the flagship there. Where did you go in Cardiff last night, Steve?
At Millennium Stadium, no?
No, but drink it. But did you just go there or anywhere else?
I went to a friend's bar after as well, but pretty much just the stadium. It was manic in town. Yeah,
we didn't actually pay some money into your investment in Boom Battle Bar, Cardiff, because they're advertising.
I stayed away from most of the bars in town, to be honest, because it was literally carnage everywhere.
Yeah,
it was like a rugby day.
Yeah, and you're old.
Yeah.
Was there anything stand out in that contest this Ed did? Do you think, that was good? What was the standout bit for it?
I had a little fact, actually, from one of the guys working there. The stage setup costs them $300,000 to set up every time they set up that stage. That's a lot, isn't it?
How long was he there for?
Just over 2 hours. No, the stage was amazing.
No, was it one night only?
3 nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, easy then, isn't it?
$100,000.
Easy money.
Yeah.
But to be fair, has he got a band on this tour, or is he just doing it by himself again?
Yeah. No, he's got musicians around the stage. But again, the whole thing, as he said, is there's no backing tracks. It's all complete live music. There's nothing that's recorded or playbacks. It's quite interesting because he takes you through the gig and tells you about how he's doing everything. So that's quite interesting to watch.
Thank you, by the way. So how many people were there, Steve? How much is the ticket? Let's look at the maths on that. I like that. I always like the rough figures. How many people was it selling? 70,000?
Well, the tickets are all different prices, aren't they? Because I know my sister paid £40 a ticket, but my one was 75.
So what's the average? So 50?
Yeah.
50 times how many people were there? 60,000?
There's probably more, isn't it? Because it's more because
you
got the seating area and you've got, because it's a centre stage, it wasn't in the middle of the stadium. So
4.5 million turnover there last night, and you got merchandise on top of that. Plus, he's covered the stage setup already, and he got to pay his band. What's he netting on that? Probably $1 million, is he? Probably after everything else?
He said on his last tour he netted $1 billion.
Wow.
So, I don't know what cut he makes from that, but I mean, fair play to him on whatever it is. But it's a chunky amount.
Okay. Do you know what? That's good. And do you know what? A final thing. I do see that clip of Johnny Depp I love that. Johnny Depp with that psychologist on the stand in this Amber Heard trial. Did you see that?
I'm not following this one. I've got to be honest.
I know, but just watch that clip. I did tweet it out, saying this is the clip of the week for me. Johnny Depp's reaction is phenomenal. They get the psychologist up there.
Do you need the audio? Because I watched the clip when I was in a conference and it didn't really make sense to me.
Well, they asked him if he's seen Johnny Depp in any films, right? And this psychologist starts to pulling really odd faces, and he goes rubbing his face and pulling really odd faces. And Johnny Depp looks at him, leans forward, what's he doing? And I just leave. And that's the psychologist, that guy. If you're as patient of his, you're thinking, mate, you're more mad than me. I'm not going to see you. It's nuts. It's just worth watching there. Another video clip I recommend, apart from TV, I'm back into Selling Sunset. Megan's into it now. That's quite good. There's these people in Los Angeles selling these amazing properties. But watch that clip of Stephen... in fact, there's a timestamp on it. Stephen King, John Grisham. I've read all John Grisham's books, and I really like the guy. I'm just fascinated by how they churn out so much, high detailed books on a regular basis. Talking about 500-page books is phenomenal. And I just looked him up. I just wanted more about him because I'm fascinated by the work ethic, really. And there's an interview with him and Stephen King on stage, and good stories in there. And Stephen King talks about the time he's skint. He's in a trailer park with his missus. They're 20 years old. They are married. She works in a laundry. She works in Dunkin' Donuts. He's a teacher earning 22k a year, and they are skint. They have to sell a car or buy a smaller car, and he sent 5 manuscripts off to the publisher, all of them rejected, and in the end they accept Carrie. The Carrie is the first one they accept, and they pay him $2,500. And he said that was big tickets for us because that's like a tenth of my yearly wage, and that was for hardback. He said we may get some money on the paperback version of that. And his wife said, how much will we get? He used to work in the laundry during the summer holidays when he wasn't teaching, so that's skint. And he said, I don't know, hopefully we could get, he said, 60 grand for it. But obviously half that's given to the publisher. Half! He said, well, he didn't know at the time. Now the deal's nothing like that. And my share is a lot bigger than that. But at the time we were just happy for that. So we may get 30 grand off that. And the publisher called him up on a Sunday. He said, this is odd. Why is he coming up on a Sunday? And he said, we got a deal for your paperback book. He said, yeah, how much? He said, 400 grand. He said, what? Did you say 40 grand? He said, 400 grand. And he said, well, I couldn't breathe. He said, that's, compared to his wage, so you get 200 grand, that's 10 times his wage, And then he said, right, he went to town, and he bought his missus a hairdryer. His missus it wasn't with him when the call came through. And he bought his missus a hairdryer as a present, right? And he'd give her a hairdryer, and he said, oh, thanks, Steve, I like that, but we have to take that back, we can't afford that. He said, we can? He said, what do you mean? He said, I've just had a call from the publisher. He said, no, I said 60 grand for the book. They said 400 grand. And she said, what? And she said, it was like one of those movie moments. She put her hands over her face and started shaking and crying and literally couldn't believe it, And then went on and sang the film for it as well. So we got even more money. But the amount of work these guys put in, that was the 5th manuscript. Can you imagine writing 5 books and sending them in and being rejected? When would you stop, And look where he is now, worth millions and millions. But it's worth watching that clip because it is, I got quite emotional watching it. You can see how much it meant to them. But it's lovely that you see people like that putting the work in and getting the rewards. Cause,
it's just like you, though, isn't it? Like I've got a lot of respect for you and the work you've put in to make this a success. Like this is your 13th endeavour, and some of them along the way have been a load of rubbish.
Yeah, but I've always I've had fads and stuff, but I've always loved stocks and shares. I realised at the start, if you've got a passion, that's all it's about. That's what it's about. That's what life's about. We're all going to die. I was on holidays with my father. He's looking very old at the moment. He had a stroke. He's shuffling along a bit. He's aged by 10 years. And you get down to the stage where you think, do you know what? Life doesn't get any easier as you get older. It gets horrible. Old age is horrible. Enjoy what you've got. If you've got a passion, follow it. Go with it. Because that's what life is about. That's all it's about. Find something you enjoy, that doesn't hurt others, of course. If you're a serial killer, that you can't do that for a living. But something you enjoy, and if it improves you, go with it. Because that is what life is about, isn't it, really? We've all got limited time here, and it doesn't get any easier. So I just look at my father. Anyway, there we are. And do you know what? If you can make it as an investor, there's no better gig. Any gig you have, you've got clients, someone nagging you, a boss nagging you somewhere online. Even if you're self-employed, you've got clients. If you become an investor full-time, the only boss is the market. It doesn't really it gives you emotional stress, but it doesn't really nag you up and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, sort that out. So that's why it's one of the most sought-after jobs of all, a full-time investor, because your only boss is the market. But it doesn't tell you to clock in or clock out. It's up to you. That's why I love investing and all that stuff. But there we are.
Okay.
One final thing. Do you know who Sanna Marin is? Sanna Marin. Have you heard of her?
No.
She's the Finnish Prime Minister. She's 36. Have you seen her?
Oh yeah.
She's very attractive.
Impressive.
She's 36, and she's the Prime Minister. Check her out, Steve. You like her, I think. But,
okay. Got a chance.
Right. All right, boys, that's enough, I think, isn't it?
Lovely.
Lovely, jubbly. How's your Passy's ice creams doing, Steve? Good?
Yeah, doing right. I've got a special on today.
Oh, yeah.
Meat and potato.
Ice cream.
yeah. I was going to say, that sounds like a horrible ice cream. Feet of potato. I've combined the pasty and ice cream shop. Steve, it was working as is. What have you done? Yeah, it's going downhill now. That offer you gave to me, I'll accept it. Lovely. All right, boys. Speaking next week. In fact, I'm not on a canal boat holiday. I don't know why we're doing that, but I'm going on a canal boat holiday.
I quite fancy that. Can I come?
Sounds fun, yeah.
The Share Pickers Weekend Podcast with Justin, Paddy, Peter and Steve. The content of this podcast is not intended as investment advice. It is for information purposes only. People in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.